President suspends Police Service Commission. Harman wants Russian vaccines verified. And freedom of speech is apparently only for the elites. I am Noriko Bulford, and welcome to tonight's edition of Uncut News. Before we begin, do you have something important you want to leak without revealing your identity? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. 2 days before the Chief Justice is set to hand down her ruling in a case against the Police Service Commission, the President has suspended all the members of said commission. Supposedly, he's mad that the PSC decided to join an opposition-filed court matter against the government about their budgetary allocations and independence. The PSC members said they only joined the lawsuit after the government refused to provide funding for the commission to defend itself in the lawsuit filed by the senior officers who were not promoted. The same ones that the chairman, Paul Slow, claims that the president tried to pressure them to promote. Slow said that he is convinced that the government wants there to be no commission in place when the court's ruling is handed down on Friday, as he suspects that the court will rule in the favor of the commission. Speaking of court cases with unpleasant outcomes for the PPP, Jagdeo has filed an appeal against a high court decision ordering him to pay Annette Ferguson $20 million in damages for defamation. Earlier this year, the High Court had issued a default judgment in Ferguson's favor after Nondal failed to file a defense for Jagdeo before the deadline. Jagdeo is now appealing the decision on the basis of qualified privilege, justification, and fair comment through a trial, and for the provision of evidence. However, Justice Curzius said fair comments must be made on the basis of facts, and seeing as Ferguson showed evidence to disprove Jagdeo's accusation, while he offered none, they automatically ruled in her favor. So enough nonsense from the government. Here's some stupidness from the opposition. As if it already wasn't hard enough to get people to take the vaccines, now we have Harman claiming the 200,000 overpriced Russian vaccines that we bought are actually fake ones from Mexico. Today he called for the suspension of their use until they can be verified by the government as real. When asked about the source of his claims, he said he was relying on, quote, information received from sources around the world, which in my experience usually is politicians speak for, I made it up. The government maintains that the vaccines are both real and were not sourced from questionable characters. So while private citizens are getting charged for bad-mouthing ministers, politicians are being able to spew lies from their massive platforms. Yesterday afternoon, a horrific accident in Region 1 claimed the life of 39-year-old secretary of the Baronita Village Council, Juanita Sobers. According to reports, Sobers was thrown out through the windshield of the vehicle and under the minibus after it collided with an object at the side of the road. She was sitting in the front seat. The driver is currently in the hospital, while the other passengers only received non-life-threatening injuries. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's car of the day. Currently on sale is this Nissan Juke. It comes with marked rims, new tires, DVD, stereo, reverse camera, rear spoiler, and much, much more. Buy cash for $2.9 million, or paid down as low as $580,000 with around $66,000 monthly for 4 years, and it's yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit their showrooms at Lot 171 Peter Rose Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and tell them Noriko sent you for this sweet deal. On Tuesday evening, 24-year-old minor Clifton Birchman was fatally stabbed after he tried to break up an argument between two men at Curribrand Landing in Region 7. According to the police, the argument actually took place in the morning, but the suspect, who is commonly known as Ball, decided to stab Birchman in the neck hours after the altercation had ended. Ball is currently on the run. The police are looking for two lowlifes who robbed a 17-year-old girl at a supermarket in Diamond on Wednesday night. According to the cops, the men, if you can call them that, flashed a gun in the girl's face, threw her down on the floor, and ran off with her cell phone and her money. Over in Burpees, 31-year-old fisherman Vikram Samaru was hospitalized following a beating he received from two of his colleagues in the Rosignol Fisheries Complex. According to police, the conflict started yesterday morning after Samaru threatened to stab them with a knife. But, not being ones to take idle threats, brothers Romano Nasruddin and Riyad Nasruddin armed themselves with a metal pipe and a cutlass and went to swinging on Samaru. Samaru's life was only spared after another fisherman intervened in the thrashing. Samaru's condition is listed as serious but stable. while the two beat-down brothers are presently in police custody. Do you want to grow your money? Sell Digicel Top-Up. Become a top-up vendor through Cellular Plus and make some extra cash to supplement your income at your business or your side hustle. Call 685-3109 for more info. It's now time for today's Rona Report. Today, the nation recorded 75 new cases. There are now 441 persons dead. There are now 22 persons in the ICU, so I hope you see how that ICU number is going up, and 1,521 persons in home isolation. Now, the total number of confirmed cases around the nation now stands at 18,733. So, please, people, wash your hands frequently. Avoid touching your nose and mouth and mask up before you leave the house. When you do leave home, try to avoid enclosed spaces and large crowds. And remember to give 6 feet of space between you and others. In response to relatively low vaccination rates in the 2 regions, the Health Ministry has begun a door-to-door vaccination drive in Regions 10 and in Bartica. According to the ministry, they are continuing with the drive despite severe flooding in some of the regions. Because of the flooding, health workers in the upper and middle Mazaroni have been monitoring for the Rona as well as waterborne diseases. So far, a total of 224,853 people have received the first dose, while 94,243 people have received both doses. Introducing Ferry, an app that lets you find someone that's traveling to or from overseas so you could send your packages with them. Genius! Download Ferry from your favorite app store and book a space in someone's luggage, or better yet, if you're traveling, rent a piece of your luggage space and make some money. Ferry puts the X in express shipping. Download today at ferryshareglobal.com. The police force has issued a wanted bulletin for Begong Fakood for questioning in relation to the murder of Shamar Drakes. Police said the murder occurred on June 6 at Suwanda Bakdam, Peruni River, Guyanese Mazaruni. Anyone with information that may lead to the arrest of Begong Fakood is asked to snitch on him for the good of the community. And now for our stupid news of the day. Yesterday, Ferguson claimed the PPP is restarting the Phantom Squad and they are using state funds to do it. She offered no proof whatsoever. Harman is claiming that we paid millions for fake vaccines and offered no proof. A year ago, Jabdeel claimed Ferguson stole state funds to buy a house, but got proven wrong and refuses to pay for being wrong. And months before that, Tashira went before the nation to claim that we are being overrun by Haitians in a state-sponsored human smuggling scheme to gain more votes for APNU. Yet again, no proof was offered. But when a private citizen calls a minister a terrorist, or they call someone a racial slur, they are immediately brought before the courts for cyberbullying. Now, I'm not excusing racism, just so you know, but I want you to notice that this is just a glaring example of freedom of speech being under attack in Guyana. As we've seen with the recent lawsuits against Culture and Newsroom, even news entities are not safe from the wrath of the rich and politically connected. It also shows that there are 2 justice systems in Ghana, one for the rich and one for the poor. But when you try to point out these inconsistencies, the Stockholm Syndrome victims, party supporters, will always come to the defense of their precious dear leaders. Fortunately for us, free speech isn't completely dead. I'm still here, am I right? Aha! Anyway, I could go on and on, but I'm almost out of time. So what I'm trying to say is that if you truly want to see change in this country, speak out and demand that our leaders be held to an even higher standard than the average citizens. Because if you ask me, treating state employees like they're gods among men is pretty stupid. Hey Guyanese business people, are you looking for a great way to advertise your business? Search no more. Join one of the fastest growing business directories in Guyana. Register your business on snap.gy and get access to more eyeballs. And wait for the best part, it's absolutely free. Get your business listed today on snap.gy. Moving on to our Uncut News Views Poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in the nation, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. So you give your responses in the comments and we'll read the best ones in the following episode. Yesterday's question was, do you agree with the plan to relocate the Central Fire Station to the Durban Park area, or would you choose somewhere else? Nirmal Ramnath said, I think it's a good idea, and we should put some of the bus park there as well. Also make more of the roads one way. I agree with both of those, all 3 of those points in fact, those are good points. Julian Humphrey said, the Home Affairs Minister has a great idea to take the fire service out of that busy area. But come on, placing it at Durban Park makes no sense to me. If there is a fire in the city, would it not be harder for the fire engine to enter onto the busy streets? Why doesn't the minister put it where the old radio station used to be on High Street, where that white elephant is sitting, if one of the rich boys haven't grabbed it up as of yet? Also a solid point, Julian. And finally, Jermaine Charles said, "It's about time. I'm happy to hear that plans are finally in the making for a new and possibly a permanent location for the Central Fire Station. It's unfortunate it wasn't thought of earlier. However, I'm in full agreement with this move." So, great answers, people. Thank you. So, for tonight's question, how do you feel about the door-to-door vaccination drive in Region 7 and 10? Do you think it should be expanded into other regions? Why or why not? Just so you know, I'm only reading the good ones tonight, so don't write a scandal or bunch about Bill Gates or microchips or any stupidness like that. So, think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. Check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Enrico Bullford saying good night, folks. Hey, Uncut News viewers, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now.